Kody's blatant favoritism of Robyn is no secret. The kids know it, the other wives know it. The only person semi-denying this obvious preference is Robyn herself. Even Kody acknowledges his preference to be where he is worshipped. I would hope, maybe I'm naive, but I would hope that one of the goals of plural marriage might hopefully be some semblance of equal treatment. But as we've seen time and time again, that is not always the case. Although many patriarchs are not as blatant with their favoritism and cruelty as Kody is. Over the last couple seasons, we have seen a big attempt by Kody and Robyn too to rewrite the history of this family. But lucky for us, we are viewers that do not forget. And we have over a decade of footage to look back on to make us go, yeah, we did watch that correctly. That actually did happen. It really just exposes Kody's blatant, ridiculous hypocrisy. Let's get into today's video. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. So this is probably going to be one of the last videos that I make with this current setup. If you hear any banging, I'm going to do my best to try to edit that out if any makes it through into the audio. But there actually is construction going on right now as we speak. We are converting part of our garage into a new office/studio for me. So I will be moving into that setup. And this is going to be turned into our son's room, who will be making his arrival in May. So how does one really divide resources equally in a plural family? What is fair? Are all of the adults working? Who stays home with the kids? Are the kids homeschooled? Do they go to public school? Do they go to private school? No one says that running a plural household is easy, that's for sure. And Janelle, as the bookkeeper of the family for so many years, has always had a tall order in front of her. I think it's fair to say, from what we've seen depicted on reality TV, that some plural families do a better job than others of dividing resources. And probably the award, if you were to give out an award for the most pitiful job at dividing money, time, attention, things like that, that would go to Mr. Kody Brown. He is truly awful at attempting any semblance of equality. The dude just makes no attempt, and if one of his kids or wives says, hey, this isn't fair, he will just berate them endlessly. In my opinion, I think since typically not all wives have an equal amount of the kids, it's not really fair to divide your resources equally amongst the wives. It would be most fair to divide your resources, at least money-wise, equally amongst the kids. We saw back in the early days of this family, when the resources were divided equally amongst the wives, Mary had a lot of extra disposable income. Robyn also got a good amount of money because at that time she only had 3 kids. And then Christine and Janelle were left to make the same amount of resources work for their 6 kids. It just was really unfair. It meant that those kids did without quite a bit. Honestly, that should have not sat right with any of the adults. And I really don't think that Mary always had to have less than just because she only produced 1 child. I have mentioned on this channel before, like, I was totally on board with Mary having the same size house in Las Vegas as the rest of the wives. I mean, these were pre-designed neighborhoods, so maybe she didn't need a wet bar, but the square footage of the house was going to be roughly the same as the others. And I thought that that was quite all right. With that being said, what we've watched over the last decade is Robyn easily getting anything and everything that she wanted without contributing literally anything to the family pot. And we've seen Christine often be the recipient of Kody's nastiness for asking for basic things for her kids. Throughout season 17, we really see Kody try very hard to flip the narrative, but he vastly underestimates the viewership of this show because we will not be easily bamboozled. Early on in the series, Christine wanted to make a trip to visit her family. This really upset Kody, telling her that she essentially had to fund the trip by saving her grocery money.
That's all I'm talking about. Christine, if you want to go on a vacation, you save your grocery money. Listen, I'm personally not willing to continue living like we've been living.
First of all, Kody loves to refer to non-vacations as vacations. In season 16, traveling with Isabel to get major back surgery was considered a vacation to Kody. And here, a trip to visit your family is considered a vacation. I'm sorry, but neither of those scenarios is equal to the 11-day honeymoon that he went on with Robyn, the anniversary trip to Mexico with Mary, and what was talked about right before this clip was apparently Kody and Robyn went on a vacation with her kids, which Robyn allegedly funded by saving her grocery money, which I really don't think that that's true. Those trips, those are vacations. Just because you travel somewhere does not inherently qualify that trip as a vacation. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. Kody points out to Christine that Robyn saved her grocery money to fund this vacation. Again, I call bullshit, but that if she wanted to travel to visit her family, she would have to do the same thing. At the time, Robyn only had 3 kids and Christine had 6, one of whom was still a baby needing things daily that are very expensive, like diapers. And all of the kids would regularly congregate at Christine's house. So I have to believe that a lot of Christine's grocery money allowance was going to feeding all of the kids. I think it's a safe assumption to make that Christine always had to maximize her spending allowance, and she didn't have a lot left over, if any, to save for vacations. Let's fast forward now to season 17, episode 1, where Christine and Kody are sitting down to talk the logistics of the divorce, and Christine reminds Kody one of the reasons why she is leaving is because he was just such a shitty husband.
Where mine and Kody's marriage started to disintegrate is actually when I was pregnant with Truly. I was overwhelmed with everything. I still had to produce some sort of income, so I was working at night, and Aspen in 5th grade was tucking the kids in bed at night, 10 years old. And I asked Kody, I said, I need your help. And he goes, I can't do that. I'm in other houses.
And here is Kody's first attempt to rewrite the historical record.
As I look back on this and I analyze what she's saying, she wasn't wanting a fairness with the other wives. She was wanting more.
Christine was asking for help putting her kids to bed after a long day of raising all of the kids because she was going off to work to also work a job to contribute financially to the family. Christine was working 2 jobs. In my opinion, Christine was actually doing more than any of the other adults. So throwing her a bone by tucking her kids in at night should not have been a big ask. I'm looking at Janelle and Mary on this too because they should have absolutely stepped up to make sure Christine's kids were tucked in at night and that responsibility was not falling on a 10-year-old Aspen. But of course, the most culpable here is Kody because these are literally Kody's kids. It's not asking for more to ask you to step up and be a dad. And honestly, how are you okay relaxing with another wife in another household when you have multiple children under the age of 10 unattended and left to fend for themselves? Honestly, that should be terrifying to any of the other adults in the household. So Christine asking for help to tuck her kids in at night was asking for more than the other wives were getting, but Robyn gets a whole ass nanny for her kids. And this is another revisionist attempt by Kody, because now the story is that the reason why Robyn needs the nanny is because Christine refused to mother Robyn's kids.
Here's the thing. Christine was great at being willing to mother Janelle's kids, okay? But she was never willing to mother or be a good mother to Robyn's kids.
Not so fast there, Kody. Let's travel back in time to season 8, where Christine actually confronts Robyn on the show during an interview about not being asked to raise her kids. And this really caught Robyn off guard. I think this was a really authentic moment, and I was so here for it.
It was really difficult for me when you got a babysitter, because my first thought was, why aren't we good enough? It's like, why don't you trust me with your kids? Why wouldn't you ask me first? I didn't get it.
Mindy is our niece. She has a teaching degree. I've had to bring in Mindy because she helps take care of kids while we work.
When I was thinking of, don't you want a relationship with me? Don't you want a relationship with a sister wife?
Are you serious right now?
Yes, completely. It broke my heart. You're never gonna need me. Never.
Boom, roasted. Robyn never wanted Christine's help with her kids. She got a nanny, or as at that time she called a babysitter. She got one right off the bat. And what was Robyn's excuse? Well, her excuse was that, well, all the adults are working, so it would be unfair to her to ask any of her sister wives to step in to help her out with childcare because everyone's working. But your job is your family. Your job is filming with your family, which all of the other adults are participating in too with their kids, and they don't have nannies. Do we think that Robyn paid for the nanny out of her grocery money? I think obviously probably not. Why was it okay to utilize family resources to pay for a nanny for Robyn, or a substantially larger and nicer living situation for her and her kids, and the other wives and kids had to settle for far less? Why was that okay? Why was there always a logical explanation for why Robyn needed to take so much from the family pot, but if Christine asked for really basic things, she was just asking for too much? And the inequality is even greater now that Christine, Mary, and Janelle are bringing in so much income via their MLMs. And, you know, we can all have our opinions about MLMs in general, but the fact of the matter is they are bringing in substantially more money than Kody and Robyn are into the family. And I really shouldn't even include Robyn, because Kody does go out and work his, like, firearm trade shows or whatever he does, but Robyn doesn't do anything except for the show. But Kody is still sitting there in season 17 rationalizing why it's okay that Robyn needs so much more than the other wives and kids are getting, while simultaneously condemning Christine for asking for too much. Make it make sense. Even free things like Kody's time are easily distributed to Robyn and her kids, but to get Kody over to another wife's house, it's like pulling teeth. Kody is diligent in never spending more than 2 or 3 nights away from Saul and Ari because they just can't handle it, apparently. He laments the thought of going over to Christine's house to visit outside with Isabel and Gwen because that just really wouldn't be very convenient for him. Kody's hypocrisy is ridiculous, and it would be comical if it wasn't the children that were ultimately suffering the most due to his decisions. Watching these kids cry time and time again over the absence of Kody in their lives is just so heartbreaking. And it just makes us as the viewers more and more disgusted by Kody's excuses and his continued abandonment of kids that he chose to have, Let me know your thoughts about this total blatant hypocrisy down in the comments. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at realiteasquad, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Have a good one. Much love.